Welcome back to Anderson Smoke Show. It's almost Thanksgiving, and it's time to start thinking about how you're going to prepare your turkey for your family and friends. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video about my turkey tips and my turkey preparation, check it out here. Today, I'm going to be doing a whole turkey that I've dry brined and I'll be injecting, and I'm going to show you exactly how to turn this turkey into one fabulous Thanksgiving feast. Stick around and see what I've got to say. If you're new here, my name is Andrew and I'm an engineer. So everything you see here at Anderson Smoke Show is going to be technical and to the point. I'm going to show you the tips and tricks necessary to taking a whole turkey through all of the necessary steps and making a perfect dinner for your family. Now let's get started. Look, when it comes to turkey, it's honestly a really simple process, but if you're anything like me, you're always a little apprehensive because you know what? You're cooking for family and friends, and the last thing that you want to do is disappoint. So that's why today I'm going to show you how to do a whole turkey with some of my favorite tips and tricks on how to do it. So as you can see here, I've already got the turkey, what appears to be ready to go. The thing is, I dry brined this overnight. What I like to do for a dry brine is I put it on top of a wire rack, put it on top of a cookie sheet or a baking sheet, and I season it with my favorite seasonings. And you want something that is salt-based because that's going to help draw the moisture out and put the moisture back in. So I used some of my garlic salt as a base. And then I used some of my Spiceology turkey rub. This is my favorite rub, and it is salt-based as well. So just be careful with your combinations here. But what I did is I pat dried this turkey to where the surface was pretty dry. I had it on this wire rack. I seasoned all around it with the garlic salt and the turkey rub, and I put it in the refrigerator like this for about 16 hours. What this is going to do is it's going to draw the moisture out and it's going to put the moisture back in, and it's already seasoned up and almost ready to go. Dry brining is going to increase the amount of juice, and it's also going to give a great flavor. And with a dry brine, you can also prepare a turkey in as little as 12 hours. And if you're in a time crunch and you don't have an entire week to thaw and prep for a turkey, a dry brine is a great method. So you're probably saying, well, it looks like it's ready. Let's get it in the smoker. Now wait, we're not quite ready yet. So there's a couple last steps that we have to do before we get it in. And the first is we need to tie this turkey up. Now, when you tie up the turkey, people use anything from wire, which is what I'll be using today, or they'll be using kitchen twine. And what you want to do is you want to grab these legs and you want to pull them in tight. And you want to hog tie them using this wire or your kitchen or butcher twine. So I will take it like so, and I will get the wire twisted, get it nice and tight around the ankles, and then I'll just start to wrap this around. Now, a lot of people will then tuck the wings back. I typically don't. It's just my preference. I like to leave them natural. They'll kind of flap in the wind, you know, as it cooks. But for the most part, this is ready to go. Now, there is one last step that I like to do with every turkey I do. No matter what method I'm using to brine it, no matter what method I'm using to cook it, spatchcock, whole, doesn't matter. That's injecting the turkey. So right here in this bowl, I have 2 sticks of unsalted butter. And I have a concoction that I make to taste. I don't measure any of this out. Start small, use things in increments, and you'll get it exactly how you want it. Now, I like my injection to be a little on the sweeter side versus the saltier side. In my injection, I have black pepper, I have salt, I have garlic powder, Italian herbs, brown sugar, and a little bit of my favorite barbecue rub. Mix that all up, make sure all the sediment's off the bottom, and get yourself a syringe, and you're going to need one of the larger diameters so it doesn't clump up and get jammed. And I'm going to inject this into the breasts, the thighs, and the legs. And I will tell you what, it yields some delicious and extremely juicy and flavorful turkey. So you've got your turkey injection ready. Like I just told you, it's a butter-based and spice and herb and salt and brown sugar all mixed in. Make sure that you've got it stirred really well to get all the sediment up off the bottom. Get yourself a syringe, a large diameter syringe. And what I like to do is actually set the spoon down in and suck from right above the spoon. That helps keep it from getting all clumped up. I've got it here. What I like to do is I start with the breast because this is the part that usually uses the most. And I poke it deep in and I give about a half a pump in here. Then I will back it out, change my angle, finish that off. Some of it will run out. You're never going to prevent that, but we'll do that again. We'll do that into this breast here. I'll go about a half a syringe there, then I'll back it out, go in a different direction, do another half. Now what I will do is I'll do the dark meat, and if I have any left over, I'll go in and put even more into the breast. Now most people are gonna say, why are you injecting the dark meat? It's typically juicy to begin with. Well, I like the flavor, and this makes it even better. So stir up your injection again, get a syringe full, and I will go in to the legs and do the same thing. So pump it up a little bit, move it around. Now because it's a little tighter in there, you're not gonna get as much into the legs as you are the breasts, so don't worry. Usually about a half a syringe per leg. All right, and then we're gonna get into the thighs, and we're gonna do the same thing there, about a half a syringe. And we'll get into this thigh here. Pump it up. All right, so the turkey now is brined, it is seasoned, and it's injected. I've got my smoker set up. We're gonna do this on the Char-Griller Gravity 980. Got it loaded up with some lump charcoal, some hickory, and some applewood. We're gonna get this thing in there and slap some smoke on it. All right, so we've got the turkey over here at the Char-Griller. I've got it set for 285 degrees. Typically, I will add a decent amount of smoke at 225, but I've got it loaded up pretty good with some hickory and some cherry, so I know I'm still gonna get that smoke profile that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna get this bird in, 285 degrees, and I'm gonna go a little bit left of center. It's a little cooler over here. We'll get this thing closed up, and it's just about ready to go. I'm gonna put a couple probes into the breast so I can monitor the temperatures. I'm gonna be using my ThermoWorks signals today, and that's just gonna help me keep an eye on the progress of this. I'm also gonna be using my ThermoWorks instant read thermometers, my ThermaPen 1 today for those final checks. But it's basically time to just let this thing go. A whole turkey at 285 degrees, we're probably pushing 5 hours or so. We'll keep you informed on the progress. We'll show you what it looks like along the way. But at this point, grab yourself a beer, get a lawn chair. It's time to watch some Sunday football. See you in a bit. All right, we are about 4 hours in, maybe a few minutes after 4 hours in. We're reading about 155 degrees in the breast. It's time to glaze this up. So in this bowl, I have a 4-to-1 honey to bourbon ratio, and I give it a little kick with just a little bit of Cajun seasoning. This is one of my favorite glaze recipes. I use this on turkeys from time to time. I also use it on my salmon all the time. Since we're just about done, we got 10 degrees left, we're gonna baste this on. And I've just got a silicone brush here, and I'm gonna gently, almost kind of dab. If you get a little too rough, you can always knock off the seasoning, and really not looking to do that. You can see though on this turkey that the skin is rather crispy, and I can tell you 100% that that is from the dry brine. It pulled the moisture out. You could see before we even started that it was a little wrinkly. You know, you could see that it had tightened up. So we'll continue to baste this. It's looking really good. Now this baste, you know, that honey, that bourbon, you're gonna get a great, an even better golden brown than what you're already seeing here. That honey is gonna add a little sweetness. The Cajun's gonna add just the right amount of kick that you would want. But even if you don't like spicy, this isn't going to make it spicy because I didn't put much. It was just enough to give it a little extra dimension. I'm just gonna continue basting here with that honey and bourbon glaze. This is one of my favorite ways to finish off a turkey. Like I said, we've got 10 degrees left. We're gonna get this closed. We are going to let that glaze set up. We're gonna let this hit 165 degrees internal temperature. Then it's gonna be time to give it a try. You saw how good that looked, and knowing this glaze, if you haven't tried it, it will make it phenomenal. It's gonna add that extra dimension to your Thanksgiving turkey. We're gonna give this the rest of the time to finish up to hit 165 in both breasts. We'll see you then. All right, we're back here at the Char Grill or Gravity 980. We've got that whole turkey that we've glazed. It is time to get it off. We're about 5 hours and 10 minutes or so since we put it in. It's time to get it off. Now, I did rotate it because one side was about 5 degrees ahead of the other, just to kind of even things out. So you can see here now that it's spun around. Grab myself 2 spatulas here to help move that bird onto the cutting board, just like so. We're gonna get this over to the table. We'll let it cool down for just a few moments. We're gonna give it a try. As you can see, that whole turkey is done. It is glazed, it is juicy, and we are at about 165 degrees when we pulled it. It is time to cut into this. And as you know, the best measure of your success with a turkey is going to be in the breast, because that's the part that dries out, and that's the part that needs the most attention when it comes to flavor. I am going to get in here, give this turkey the ultimate test. And I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna cut the breast out. And I've already untied the legs, so I'm actually just gonna kind of break those off, get them out of the way a little bit. Whew. You can see how juicy and moist that breast is. You can see the seasonings and everything from the injection. You can see we've got a nice skin. It even tightened up and it's crispy, and we've got that glaze on it. So I'm going to set that off to the side here. We'll pull the leg off. I'm gonna slice a piece of that dark meat off to try as well. You can see how hot this is, so I will slice the breast here and we'll give it just a couple minutes to cool down before we actually taste it. I trimmed up the turkey while I was waiting for the breast and this piece of dark meat to cool down. It's time to give it a try. Since I'm a big fan of dark meat, we're gonna start there. This is a chunk from the drumstick or from the leg. That skin crisped up nicely. And that glaze gives it just a little bit of sweet, and the Cajun seasoning adds just a little extra. It's delicious. But it's time to give the breast a try. And like I said before, this is a true testament of how well you did with your turkey if the breast is still moist. And I can tell you, I can sit there and squeeze the juice right out of it. It's still moist. I'm excited to try it with the skin, with the glaze. That dry brine did a good job of tightening up that skin and helping it crisp up. And that glaze helped as well, giving it a little extra flavor. In the past, I've been a little worried using dry brines because you tend to use a little bit more salt than you typically would, but you cannot tell one bit that I used that garlic salt on top of an actual turkey rub. It worked out perfectly. It tightened up that skin. The turkey stayed moist. Now, I'll be honest with you, a spatchcock turkey cooks faster, and it also is a little bit juicier, but it's because you're cooking it in a much quicker and more uniform way than a whole turkey. If you're looking for that Thanksgiving pose, that perfect bird on the platter, then this is the way to go. And I would consider using that glaze and my injection because that just adds a little bit more to impress your family and friends. If impressing your family and friends is something that you look to do often, then be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time at Anderson's Smoke Show.